I'm a junior BCMB pre-med major, and I'm here to tell you about my summer APEX fellowship with the Community Care Network at the Wooster Community Hospital. So essentially the Community Care Network is a free program that provides weekly home visits as well as med boxes and any other things that they might need to people who have chronic illnesses or long-term diagnoses, and they're having a bit of trouble managing their symptoms and their pain and helping them set up health goals. We are considered health coaches, so similar to a life coach, we go in, we have conversations, and we set their plans, their goals, and we help them make an idea of how to achieve their goals. And then we continue following up week by week, seeing how they've improved, if anything's happened, and then follow on from there. So for us, we do home visits each week, and we report back to our nurses. During the summer specifically, we meet each patient each week, and then we do a weekly meeting instead, and we report back on everyone's symptoms and how they're doing. We would go and we fill med boxes, so some people who have Alzheimer's or we're just physically unable to fill their own meds, we go in and we do it for them, because after a while it can get complicated, and sometimes it's just easier to have someone else do it for you. And I personally believe that the Community Care Network is mostly for community building. We see all kinds of people. They're thin, they're old, they're small. Like, it doesn't matter. It really just based on how people are managing their symptoms. So the application process was fairly simple. You do already have to be a health coach in order to apply, but you do still fill out a resume, a cover letter, and as well as get recommendations from teachers or other staff members that you know. For APEX specifically, we did also fill out all their travel forms and stuff like that. It's a very simple application process, but it is still a process. So for me, a typical week looked like 4 10-hour shifts, and that was just my preference. I saw between 4 and 8 patients a day, starting at 8 a.m. and usually going to about 6. And this worked in both my charting as well as travel time and home visits. Fortunately, many of my patients were willing to meet very early in the morning, which isn't always the case, so some people's schedules looked a little bit different from mine. But these visits usually consisted of me taking their vitals, filling med boxes that I had to, and then just really having a conversation with them. 50% of the time, these conversations aren't even about their health. Most of the time, you talk about common interests, life events, and these create a really strong bond between you and your patients, which you can use later down the line if you need to make harsh medical advice or decisions with them, because they trust you and they know that you have their best interests in mind. Otherwise, you wouldn't be suggesting these things to them, even if they don't particularly like them. I think it makes them feel more comfortable and more willing to open up to you. I know with the older generation, they do see right through anything. So if you are honest and you're yourself, I thought that was the best way to really connect with them, which I thought and I enjoyed a lot. So later on in the day, I would do my charting, which is essentially writing SOAP notes. And SOAP notes are subjective, objective, as well as your assessment and then your plan. So we would print them out at the end of each week for each patient and give a report back to the nurses on Tuesday mornings, and then we'd go from there, asking advice if anyone had any ideas of what to suggest for them, and really just like what the next steps are for each person, especially because we are considered untrained help. Although it seems boring to some people, I really enjoyed visiting each person each week and learning about their lives, and some of them experience some really crazy things that they love to talk about and share. There are patients who used to ride Harleys up and down the coast, who worked as nurses, and others who have lived across the US over the years in different fields and positions. And I learned that I love the medical industry because I get to meet all these kinds of people that maybe I wouldn't meet in an original normal circumstance, but it was something I could definitely see myself doing in the future and something I really want to take forward with my career. I developed better patient care skills and I was able to develop people skills overall. I felt more comfortable starting conversations, having important conversations, as well as advocating for myself and patients throughout the year. And I really, really enjoyed that part of the internship. One of my favorite moments was when a patient told me our visits felt like an old family friend was visiting, and I thought that was a beautiful thing because I had only met her a few months prior, and it shows that you can really make a difference in someone's life, even if you've just met them. As long as you're yourself, you talk to them like they are a person, and you treat them like how they would like to be treated, because they know that they're going through a lot, and they're really just looking for a friend to help them along the way and make suggestions. I did have a few scary moments when I was working, and it's not in the sense of anything that should frighten you into the field, but there are times when you show up to a house and an ambulance is outside, and you have to keep your calm and your composure, and you just have to go in and make sure that they're all right. And if they need to go to the hospital, it is what it is. You get their paperwork ready if you need to. You know where things are in their home that they need, and sometimes that's just a little step that would really make a big difference in how their care is completed further on down the road. I personally enjoyed my summer experience a lot. I know that maybe I won't necessarily go into home health specifically, but I know that I really would like to be in the medical industry, which is a great feeling, especially since I am so young and like we are moving on, but we would like to know that we're moving in the right direction. So I would recommend an Apex Fellowship because the funding really, really helps you focus on what work you're doing. They give you money based on how long you're working, where you're working, things like that. Travel expenses they'll cover as well if you fill out the proper application. And it's just fewer worries that you have to think about while you're just trying to focus on the job that you're doing. And this also opens up the idea of so many more internships, because not every internship is going to be paid, and sometimes it's nice to know that you don't have to worry about expenses along the way, because they'll help cover them for you. So I would like to thank the generous donors who made this experience possible. In my case, it was the Wilson family, and I know Worcester is currently celebrating 20 years of funded internships through the Lilly Fellowship, APEX Fellowship, and ECP internships, and I would just like to say thank you for this opportunity.